Yes. This is the Castworthy podcast, and we are back. Episode 256. I am Big Steve, aka Last Dying Breed, on the X Machine, Elon's X Machine, the voting machine, the AI automated machine, joined by EJ and the VP. VP is the disappointed one this week, and EJ is he don't care. He's the disinterested one.
What up?
Still didn't get his we still
What up,
didn't
though?
get our student loans, and we have no chance of that in the future. So
I mean, you know, it's the topic of the week, so I guess we might as well start there. I think that, obviously we all feel the same that, this was a bad week. We probably all feel that it's a bad week for different reasons, which is fine, but bad week nonetheless. But the people who,
specifically Dak Prescott going on IR, right?
for people who feel the way that you guys feel, right, about student loans, I think that it was an even worse week. And the reason why I say that is from a policy perspective, right? The point of the administration of doing things for doing things is one. I mean, some of these things just need to be done, right? But there's certain policies that you're doing for a certain constituency, and call it what it is. You're buying votes. Somebody says we need A, you do A, and then they reward you with votes or whatever, right? Either you or your party. And Joe Biden has done that for a group of folks who did not vote for him. And not him, he's not on the ballot, but didn't vote for his VP who made some of these things happen. And so it makes you wonder, what policy favors folks can come for in the future and ask for and get,
You can't be attacking gays as soon as we come out the gate, dog.
No, I'm not attacking gays. I'm basically talking about white folks. EJ, I saw him peek up because he think I'm talking about black people, and I'm actually not. So I'm talking about white people because
I don't know what he's talking about.
You look at a place like West Virginia, right? And under Joe Biden and Democratic leadership, right, their pension funds for the Teamsters Union was failing. Joe Biden came in and put money in their pension funds to make sure that these people didn't lose their retirement benefits or their health care, right? And 70% of these folks voted for Trump. Those same folks in places like West Virginia and Kentucky and shit like that, who are suffering from black lung from going down in those coal mines and digging coal, Joe Biden has passed bills that's going to essentially fund their health care to make sure that they can get the best treatment that they can for going down in mines to dig coal to make sure the country has power, right? Um, in places like Michigan and West Virginia, there are factories popping up all over the place from manufacturing coming back to the United States as part of the infrastructure bill that was passed, as well as the Inflation Reduction Act that was passed. Joe Biden passed that. Kamala Harris actually was the tie-breaking vote for that Inflation Reduction Act, and those people still voted for Trump. So, as a politician, if you're saying we've done, all of this for these folks, and then they still turn their back on us, how are you going to get them to do policy favors for you in the future if you're unwilling to reward them with your vote?
What was the before we get into the boring side of it? Let's talk about what were the numbers, because when you say that, you're talking about stuff that the reach is small. That reach is not it's not magnificent when you talk about the black lung, when you talk about West Virginia, when you talk about that small amount. Student loans is a big number. That's a huge number of individuals. And granted, I get, we don't have to go through the Biden tried and they blocked it. We don't need to do that. Black people, Hispanics, whoever, those are big groups. But when you that's the problem, right? Trump knows his full base hates gays. His full base hates Mexicans. So he hones in on that. Yo, I hate Mexicans. I hate gays. I'm gonna block all that shit. And by the way, we fucked up right now. Y'all pockets is fucked up. Wasn't fucked up under me. Nobody cares about the reason. You care about the reason. E cares about the reason. Politically savvy people care about the reason. The number of people that show up to vote, the percentage of people that show up to vote that are as politically savvy as you are not difference makers. So that's what we try to tell you every week, week in and week out, when you say, oh, you guys are talking off of feeling. You guys are going off of how you feel. We're going off of how we feel. We're going off of it because that's what the bulk of the people are going to do. And that's what I've been trying to tell you guys for fucking 12 years. Since Trump's first fucking time running. Like it really is what it is. You got, social media is not a real place. It's a fucking real place, Vari. We learned that in this election that social media is a real place. Social media told us all day, yo, Trump is the shit. Trump is the shit. Fuck Kamala. Fuck Kamala. This is, and you're like, oh, because that's your same shit. That's just because that's your algorithm because you click on that stuff. No, it's not just the algorithm. If that shit peeks into my algorithm and I'm attached to you and your algorithm is all Dems, then that means there's a lot of it out there. And I'm trying to tell you guys, like, and there's a lot more to it, but the truth doesn't fucking matter. I don't understand how we don't know that by now. I don't understand how we went through 4 years of Trump, 4 years of Biden with Trump still around, and people still think, yo, we got to be truthful. We got to be, the golden children. We can't lie to our base. We got to make sure that we hit every single piece for piece, and everything has to be 100% legit. Ethics isn't going to do it anymore. It's not where our society is.
So I agree with a lot of what Steve said, and I got what Vari was saying too. I agree with that. And I think and I've said this before, and you look at the numbers, white folks in this country, they don't care about what's supposed to be good and just. They're fine with being white. They think
it's enough to be white, even if you're poor. Yep.
Even if you're poor, even at your worst of your worst.
I'd rather be poor white than rich black. That's what a lot of them feel.
That's exactly what it is. And I've come on here 1,000 times before, and I said, white women are just as guilty as white men. And we see that, any time that you can have that percentage of women voting for a man who is a convicted felon, rapist, racist, misogynist, all of these things in your face. And as a woman, you can go to the ballot box and say, yeah, I'm a feminist, I'm a progressive and all of this, except when the black women got to be in charge. That's very telling. It's very telling. And to VP's point, you got a guy that, all of these things that Biden did for them. And you can see how Kamala is attached to that, how she's adjacent to that, how she supported that, how she's the tie-breaking vote of that. And still say, can't do it. You know why? She's a black woman.
Yeah. Oh, sorry.
No. I mean, it's just that telling. It's just that crazy to me. And I think we fooled ourselves with hope, and expecting people to do the right thing. To Steve's point, people don't care about the truth. They want to feel as though they're in a place that they're not. And it's, and Steve talks about it, and we have family members. Well, I'm not going to get too deep into it, but it's like, bro, you look at the situation you're in, the life you live, and you're supporting this person who hasn't done a damn thing for you, but probably cast you aside, probably minimize all the assistance that you possibly could get because they're cutting these programs for you, and you just blindly just go with what you want to go with because you agree with the little petty things that literally have nothing to do with you, because you don't like gay rights and gay marriage, and it don't have no effect on you. Just because this party identifies with that hatred, you just good with going with it. It's insane, and we're in a bad place in this nation.
Yeah, I hear both of y'all, and it's not that I don't think that social media is a real place, Steve. Like, I get the point that you're making, but I think I've come to the realization of essentially what both of y'all are essentially saying is, I heard a guy say this in a video that I watched, and he said that feelings don't care about your facts, you know. And what really brought that home for me was, I don't know if you guys had a chance to read the article that Al posted in the chat, but in the article it talks about it interviews some Harris campaign folks who were talking on background, and they're telling the person, like, look, when we were out there in our focus groups, when we were testing our messages and stuff like that, for a certain segment of people, it didn't matter what we told them. They didn't believe that it was Trump's fault. And two of the things that the article highlights, it says that when they talked about the abortion issue, the people said, oh no, Trump, it's not Trump's fault that abortion rights changed in the country, even though Trump literally brags about him being responsible for it, as well as him putting the 3 people on the Supreme Court who did it. You know what I mean? They gave him a pass. The same folks they gave him a pass on COVID, saying like, oh, the mismanagement of COVID and all those people dying while he was president, that wasn't his fault. It was like everything that they essentially tried to test in their messaging on how to go at him. The folks would say that wasn't his fault. This wasn't his fault. This thing happened. They even with the economy crashing during COVID, they said that wasn't Trump's fault, while at the same time they're blaming Biden for inflation. Like, I don't understand how both things can be true in your mind. You know what I'm saying? And again, Steve, I get what you're saying, Steve, about, you know, people feel a certain way and all that kind of thing. I get that, but like, if it's rooted in some kind of truth, you know, me and EJ argue about what the Democratic Party has and hasn't done for Black folks, right? And, you know, I can argue certain things. EJ feels like, okay, they did that, but it wasn't enough. And then here goes some things they said they was going to do, they didn't do at all. But at least we're debating factually. You know what I'm saying? Maybe something that they did I thought had more impact. EJ doesn't think it had as much impact, but we're still arguing from a structural, factual basis. You know what I'm saying? These folks are saying that reality doesn't exist, where anything that happened with COVID is not Trump's fault, but then the results of those catastrophes that happened from COVID are Biden's fault.
Nope. That's what you're missing. There's a couple of things that you're missing here. I'm going to reply to that, and then I'm going to tell you my other point. They're not associating the challenges that they're going through under the Biden administration with COVID. They're not. As far as they're concerned, once COVID was quote unquote done, and a lot of them felt like COVID was nothing, and they've been taught to believe that it was nothing except an overreaction by Democrats. So as far as they're concerned, it wasn't a COVID thing that was the problem. It was the Democrats that were forcing people to wear masks. The Democrats were forcing people to social distance. The Democrats that were telling people that they had to shut their businesses down. That's how they're looking at it. Not agreeing with that, of course. But if you've ever trained a dog, which I know you haven't because you haven't been a dog owner, or raised a child for that matter, we'll say, then you know that repetition and routine and consistency is how you get someone to believe or continue or learn to do or say something, right? Donald Trump says the same thing. His message never changes. It never changes. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. He never changes to I'm going to do that. He never changes to we didn't have the best. No matter how bad it was, he never changes to say we didn't do the best. He always says we did the best. And he's always focused in on their high point issues. We've talked about this. Democrats want to tackle 150 different issues. Well, you care about gays, and you care about the war over here. You care about the gas prices. You care about inflation. You care about this. You care about that. And Democrats are trying to touch all of that, and then they wonder why they can't get shit done. Republicans are like, yo, down with abortion. Let's fuck with abortion. Let's get that shit fucked up. And once that's fucked up, then we're going to go on to the next thing. And what they do, Roe v. Wade, done. What's next? What y'all want us to fuck up next? Oh, you want me to deport people? Vote me in. I got them. You got a problem with all the people in New York City getting your funding? You got a problem with people in New York City that are from other countries getting $300 a month? Vote me in. I got you. We'll get rid of them.
But Steve, here's the thing. Let me. I want to say two things. I want to go back to a point that you made previously. I meant to address it last time when you talked about like the black lung in West Virginia and stuff like that. You know, that stuff has a huge impact or whatever. Yeah, it's localized to places like West Virginia, Kentucky. You know, places where they do coal mining and things like that, right? But you have to think about it this way. We're talking about billions of dollars of impact to those communities that live in those areas, right? It's kind of the same thing. Like if you've ever been in a military town, you know, a lot of these bases are like in small towns where the entire local economy is essentially supported by that base. And if the government were to close that base, or you know, when like when Afghanistan and Iraq was raging, you saw some of these towns like suffering some because they had so many troops deployed that those guys aren't out spending money in the local economy, right? So when you talk about these folks who are getting their pension benefits, essentially from the government, since the government kind of became a backstop for them, you know, it's essentially helping these towns stay afloat by continuing to put money in these folks' pockets so they can, you know, interact in the local economy. With that said, though,
they don't. That's the point. I think that's the point that's being missed here. They don't give a shit when they get in the voting booth. They're not thinking about that. They're thinking about, yo,
I think they do know that. I think they do know that because for this particular issue, these folks and their union representatives came to DC essentially begging for money, and he got that done for them. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm pretty sure they got letters in the mail and everything telling them their pension benefits was at risk. They were making phone calls to senators and shit like that.
But the difference in that aspect is they look at it like, okay, we got Joe to do it. We might not have wanted him, but we got him to do it. And they actually believe that they could possibly do the same thing with Trump. But again, it goes back to the point where I'm white and I'm all right. I don't care.
Yeah, you know?
I don't associate that with the locals. They're not associating that with Biden. What's happening is they get back to where they're at, and their local people are telling them, "Look what we did for you. Look what we did in Washington for you." So they're like, "Oh, that wasn't Biden. Biden is sending our money to Ukraine. My people went to Washington and fought for this for my pension. If Biden stopped sending money to Ukraine," this is what they're thinking. This is not what I'm saying. If Biden stopped sending money to Ukraine, I wouldn't be in this predicament. They would have more money to give to me because that's what they're being told, truth or not. That's what they're being told.
So, two things is, one, this is a question that I've asked you guys plenty of times in our chat on the pod, and I'll ask it again now, right? What is the responsibility of the voter, right? Because, you know, these folks, like let's stay on this black lung thing, for example, right? Or not black, like black lung in these pension benefits. These folks get letters in the mail from their union representative telling them essentially, hey, the funds running out. We don't got any money. We have to go to DC and beg for some money from the federal government. So we need you to call your senator, call your congressman. You know, boo, 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 boo. They go there. This thing happens. Biden signs the legislation. He fights for it, signs the legislation into law that gives these people health care and pension benefits, right? Pretty sure they got a letter in the mail or something telling them that like I don't think that these people don't know that this happened, right? I get what you're saying, but I don't think that they don't know this happened. Like if it was other things like policy things, I could see them not being aware that this thing they're getting is from the federal government. But like a check coming in your pocket every month, I just can't imagine that they don't know that the feds are doing that.
I think VP, that's where again in that we're trying to tell you, and it's probably your superpower that you're so so believe. I don't know. You have much faith in certain people, but these people, and not saying that you like their character or anything, but these people aren't. They just don't. They're not there. I mean, like I was saying before, me and Steve, we share family that we're literally looking at on Facebook. And we know the predicament that they're in. We know the life that they have lived that leaded them into the situation that they're in. And they're literally choosing to go against having a better life to vote a certain way because their pastor told them to.
Right.
Am I lying? You know what I mean? And it's
or the people in their congregation.
And it's like, despite knowing that, hey, this wasn't from my local person, but the feds got to be involved in this, right? All of that rationality and sensibility is out the window. It's gone.
I hear you. The second point that I wanted to make is you guys have kind of alluded to it, but like I feel like at this point, part of the reason why we get Trump back is that there's too much pussyfooting around or whatever, and you have to call a thing a thing, right? And the main for me, I don't care what data the Democratic Party is going to do an autopsy and try to figure out what happened and all this kind of shit like that. The media is going to do it or whatever, but I don't care what they tell me, because the thing that the data is not going to say is Kamala Harris is not president-elect of the United States because she's black, because of racism, right? And the reason that I know that that's the truth is because in the state of North Carolina, the Democratic candidate for governor, the Democratic candidate for lieutenant governor, in North Carolina, the lieutenant governor and governor run separately. They don't run as a ticket together. The person who ran for governor, the person who ran for lieutenant governor, and the person who ran for state school board superintendent, which is a statewide elected position, all three Democrats, they won. Kamala Harris lost North Carolina. Tammy Baldwin,
Are they women?
Three white guys.
Okay.
And
because that's important.
Right. No.
I agree with you that it's black, but I think it's a 70-30. I think it's 70% black.
Let me cook, Steve. Let me cook. I got you. In Wisconsin, Senator Tammy Baldwin, who is a gay woman, won re-election in Wisconsin. Kamala lost Wisconsin. And if people say that they're pissed off about inflation and Biden's policies or whatever, I said Senator Tammy Baldwin. She's the current senator for Wisconsin. Everything that you're mad about, she voted for. You re-elected her.
She's white.
And she's a white woman. In Michigan, Alyssa Slotkin won election in Michigan. Kamala lost Michigan. Alyssa Slotkin is a white woman. But even though that was an open Senate seat, Alyssa Slotkin is a sitting member of the House of Representatives who represents Michigan. Everything that you're mad about for inflation, she voted for, but you gave her a promotion. You go to Arizona, Ruben Gallego, same thing. Now he's a Hispanic guy. He wins Arizona as a Democrat. Kamala loses Arizona. He voted for everything. He's a sitting member of the House of Representatives. Everything you're mad about, he voted for. You gave him a promotion. You go to Nevada, last one here, Senator Jackie Rosen, the sitting senator from Nevada, white woman. She won re-election. Everything that you're mad about for Joe Biden's policies, she voted for. You just rehired her. So you can't tell me that you're mad about all of this shit or whatever, but you are re-upping the people who did it or giving them promotions. And then in one state of North Carolina, where these folks aren't on the federal level, you vote Democrat across the board, except for the top of the ticket.
Right. That's important. All of that's important. And you're right. They're not going to call it out. The other thing is, I don't want to gloss over that, because I think that needs to be highlighted. And so when people say, oh, it's just because she's a woman, that's why I was asking you, are they women, right? And it's important to highlight that. And are they white women? But going back to your first point, when you said Joe Biden did this, right? Joe Biden needed to be on a plane into West Virginia to have a press conference and tell these people, hey, everybody, I'm here to make sure that you guys know that I did this for you because I care about you. You told us 4 years ago when those stimmy checks came out that some of them were delayed because Donald Trump needed to make sure his signature was on those checks. When we had the hurricane and the tolls were suspended here in Florida, every time tolls are suspended, there's a fucking sign every mile that says toll suspended by governor. And people are reading that, right? So you tell people, yo, DeSantis is the devil. What? No, he wants us to be safe. Every time there's a problem, he stops taxing us on tolls. He stops charging us tolls. Donald Trump sent us stimmies. And you say, well, Biden sent you stimmies, and Biden gave you money for your kids on your taxes.
Biden sent you stimmies.
Guess what?
That were more than the ones Trump sent you.
But guess what? You know that. And we know that. Biden didn't do nothing to say, hey, guys, the fuck I did. Look what I did. When he gets criticized for Ukraine money, when he gets criticized for Israel, he don't come out and be like, yo, I took care of home. Did y'all forget that I gave you this money as well? You forget this happened under my watch? You forget that I fought for you to be able to get additional funding if you had children in your household? You guys forget that I did that? I know it sounds petty and it's not historical for the Democratic Party and politics to rub that shit in people's faces, but that's where we live today. Everything has changed. You talk about how gun laws need to change because the mags have changed, because the capacity has changed, right? Politics has changed. We can't keep doing the same fucking thing.
So Steve, I don't disagree with that. I think Democrats do a horrible job of messaging their accomplishments, right? But again, I keep saying this, and I hear myself saying it, and because I know I'm the same person who says, you know, you got to play the game you're in, not the game you want to be in, you know. But at the same time, again, I keep coming back to what responsibility of it. What is the responsibility of the citizenry?
Zero.
To know what's happening in their country.
Do you
Zero. We're America. We're Americans. We're conditioned to be the least knowledgeable, the least dedicated, the least patriotic, and want all of the benefits without any of the struggle.
Veterans Day is tomorrow, right? Veterans Day is tomorrow, or today, and it's reserved tomorrow. Mm-hmm. One or the other.
It's tomorrow. Today is the Marine Corps birthday.
Prime example. You don't see Americans screaming, "Thank you, Marines." You don't see nobody highlighting that you guys served, or the fallen veteran, fallen soldiers. Nobody's highlighting that the way they should be, right? Because it's entitlement. You're talking about what's the responsibility of the voter? What's the responsibility of an American to appreciate that their military keeps them safe, to appreciate that these policies are keeping, these fights off of our soil? Nobody asked that question. So you can't only ask that question with voting.
Responsibility to recycle. What's the responsibility to care about their fellow man? Why should we have to argue with people? Why, and we talked about it in jest on this podcast, but why shouldn't I feel responsible for the young lady that made a bad decision and can't take care of the kids? Yeah, she fucked up, but why wouldn't I need to feel that I can't help her out? Because we as Americans are selfish. We don't give a fuck. We worry about our 3-foot window in front of us, and it's shitty, and even to Steve's point, when Marines came back from Vietnam, you hated the war, but you didn't want to do shit for those guys that came back all fucked up, because Americans are fucking selfish. They only care about their own self-interest. And why would I spend the time to really know what policies exist and all of that? I live in America. It's just going to happen for me just by waking up. I'm good. It's and like I said, VP, your superpower, you have way too much faith in the nation that is today. Maybe yesterday.
No, I've lost it. I've lost it.
Yeah.
People
But
care about what they care about, right?
no,
How many
but Steve,
people? You got people that are mad. I'm handing it to you in a second. But you got people here in Florida mad that they can't smoke weed recreationally. That they lost that again for the second straight time. But they're not
voted for that.
mad. But they're not mad that their fucking 14-year-old daughter could potentially be taken advantage of by an 18, 19, 20-year-old person and then be forced to keep that child. They're not mad about that. They're not mad that they voted for that. They're mad that they voted to be able to smoke weed in public and they lost and can't do it. Like, what are we talking about here?
I definitely hear you, right? But I feel like the reason why it doesn't make sense to me is because the things that you're saying, like I get it, like on the messaging part of saying, like, hey, you see that thing? I did that. I did that. I get the point of that, but these folks are saying Trump did this for me, right? And they always come back to the stimmies, right? Joe Biden sent you a stimmy, and it was more than the one Trump sent you. And they sent you one for your children that was equal to the one you got. Whereas Trump, the one he sent you for your kids, was actually less than the one you got, right? On top of that, to the point that you made with that child tax credit thing where you were getting the $300 a month or whatever it was, right? For like a year. The government was literally sending you a check every month. And
I know that.
you know,
I
so
remember that. I'm not
right. No, I get that. So what I'm saying is like everybody gets, or most of us, when the direct deposit hit, we get an alert on our phone from the bank. Hey, cash just dropped. You know what I mean? Like, do they think that money, like that somebody that their friend cashed out them that? You know what I'm saying? So I get it that Biden. No, I get it that Biden could have made a better message out there saying, hey, checks going out tomorrow to keep reminding people of that or whatever, right? Look at what I did. But you know, people act like these things didn't happen.
When was this?
Which is insane to me.
But you also got to remind yourself, you got to play the game that you're in, right? And these locals, to Steve's point, right? I have always been a government employee, so I've always been in the union. One of my closest teammates that's on the team is my union representative, and he's in my ear literally every day telling me about and that and this and that. And sure, I'm informed enough to know to go research and do other things. And you know, he's coming from a democratic perspective, so we talk about the federal government, the local government, and the impact, right? But these places like West Virginia, when Steve is their local representative, he's not telling them the truth, to Steve's point. And it's up to somebody like a Biden or whoever to try to rope these locals in and say, look, you little pissant, you little shithead, I did this for you. Don't make me press you to cut this funding off. Don't make me cut this funding off. Get your people together. I'm coming on a Zoom or I'm coming in to West Virginia. I want all your fucking local there, and I want them to know that I did this shit. Don't fucking lie to them. And when you don't do that, you allow the devil to paint any picture he wants.
Because that's what the Republicans are gonna do.
Biden didn't want to do that shit, but guess what? We got it done for y'all. Even though he signed it, he's still a dick, and he didn't want it done for y'all, but we did that. That's what happens.
And in getting it signed, we got the gay shit thrown out too. They wanted to sneak that in there. You know that little 7-year-old went to school the other day as a boy and came home a girl? Them damn Democrats. And guess what? These people are fucking believing that shit. Like, what? Like, the last thing I'm gonna say before I stop bashing the Democrats and Kamala and get into bashing humans, there was a point that you made, and now I completely lost sight of it. Oh, how long ago was that? How long ago was it that the Biden stimmy came up?
That was the first year in office. He did it right when he came in.
Okay, so we're talking about 2.5, almost 3 years ago, right?
Longer.
And if you
that would have been in mid 2021,
4 years ago.
So if you've ever watched the Eddie Murphy stand-up, Raw, he has this bit that says, ever. What have you done for me lately? What have you done for me lately, Eddie? You did that shit 4 years ago, dog. These people don't forget, they don't remember that shit. They remember, I know you're going to say your response is, Trump did it 5 years ago. Trump has not been in office, though. So their last memory of Trump going out of office was he gave us money, and then you guys took it away from us. Well, took him away from us, and that's it. And now the price of milk is double. The price of bread is double. So this is how they're thinking, right? And they're idiots. I agree with you 100%. But the Democratic representatives and the individuals running these campaigns are just as bad because they don't know that they need to counter that. Like, they don't know they're too busy thinking, you know what? We win when black people vote. I got an idea. Let's get Glorilla. I got an idea. Let's get Beyonce in Texas. Texas ain't changing, dog. It don't matter who you could put anybody up there. You know you're not flipping it. I got it. I got another idea. The last week on our last mile, let's not save Beyonce for the last mile. Let's bring in Cardi B. They love Cardi B. And we need the Puerto Ricans, and she's kind of Puerto Rican, even though she's kind of black and she got black kids. She's Puerto Rican. So let's get her. And let's see if we can get some of these votes. Like, this is the shit I'm talking about. Like, it was the campaign. The campaign was bad, yo. She got set, and to be fair, thinking about this, it's also not her fault. You know, she had a shortened window to come up with this shit. And they had to make things happen, you know, in a microwave, right? But that's the problem. Like, Trump, and I know you're gonna say Trump did the same thing. He had Chef G and those other people. That's fine though. Trump got his base. He's good. He got his white base. He just like, if I could sprinkle a little bit and steal some of this black base and some of this minority base, then I'm in a good spot. You're a Democrat. Democrats win when black people vote. You already got most of those votes. You need to be trying to appeal to other people. She skipped Joe Rogan. And I get it. Joe Rogan said, you got to come to my compound, blah, 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 blah. It's a big-ass podcast with a lot of people. A lot of them are those conspiracy theorists that you're talking about. A lot of them are those people that live in West Virginia or, you know, Midwest, podunk cities that listen to Joe Rogan, and she skipped that. Would she have changed some of them? Maybe, maybe not. But at least get in front of these people so that maybe they can hear that truth you're talking about. All they're hearing is lies, 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 and that's what's happening. And the Democrats didn't do anything for it. Now, we spent about 40 minutes beating up on the Democrats a little bit. I want to beat up on the humans a little bit.
I think we've been beating up on humans.
We've been beating up on white humans. I want to beat up on these poor pieces of shit that don't have two nickels to rub together, that want to live above their means, and then try to claim that they don't have the money. I see you over there in fucking Cancun. I see you taking trips to DR every fucking year. You're going to tell me that stuff is so tough under Biden, but you could take a trip to DR? Oh, on my way to Miami, but it's tough under Biden? Here's an idea. Stop fucking Uber Eatsing shit. You pay a premium for that. That's called convenience. Get your ass up and go to the restaurant. Get your ass up and go to the grocery store. You're paying a convenience fee for this shit. That's why the prices appear so much higher. You stupid motherfuckers.
Why did you make Cardi B Puerto Rican? She's Dominican. Just for the record.
I want to talk about Hispanic households. Because that was big. The Hispanic vote is big. But you almost could see that coming. A woman is never going to get Hispanic votes. You know why? Because the Hispanic household, it's portrayed in every movie, every TV show, and it is reality. If you've grown up around them, Poppy holds down the house. Mommy is the homemaker. Hispanic households are the traditional households, VP, that you don't support or believe in. So that percentage, that vote percentage, shouldn't be surprising when a woman's there.
I'm not sure what that means.
Which part?
That I don't
The
support
household you
or
don't
believe
support.
in. I don't.
You don't believe in traditional values when it comes to a man providing for the household. Am I right or wrong? And correct me if I'm not, but I've been on this podcast with you for 256 episodes now, and I'm pretty sure that you feel, and we agree with you to an extent. We challenge you, but we agree with you to an extent that it doesn't necessarily have to be the man, provides for the household, and the woman needs to be, barefoot and pregnant. Like, we get that, right? But what I'm saying is, in the Hispanic households, Poppy runs the house. Poppy goes and gets the money. Mommy stays home. She cleans the house. She takes care of the kids. She raises the children. That's the typical Hispanic household. It's no surprise to me that when they go into the voting booth, they don't feel like, I'm going to go vote for a woman. There's no surprise there for me.
Well, not only that, they don't, because of their religion, Catholic and Christian, they don't support the letter community, and like VP said in chat, the Democratic Party has to be a little bit better strategically to drive other points while still, telling people that need their support, they still got them. And that's how you address those traditional Hispanic, Spanish speaking households, because they don't believe in it. And I thought at some point that generation would flip and turn over, because the kids of those people should be more liberal now. Apparently they're not.
Newsflash: God is fake.
So I totally disagree with you guys, and
I knew he believed in God.
What?
Huh?
Man, you made me move my train of thought with that.
Shout out to Black people while you rethink that. I've learned that Black people are the most progressive people that have shown through this election that they entrust a Black woman to get the job done.
It's not even that Black people are the most progressive. I think that Black people, from the time that we have been able to vote in this country, we've always had something at risk, whether it was, our freedom, our civil rights, our social mobility, whatever. There's always been something at risk for us. And I think that Black people go into every election basically, like you guys said a second ago, like, what have you done for me? What are you going to do for me? And a lot of Black people vote doing more harm reduction, I would say, because if you take EJ's point in the things that he said about the Democratic Party over the years and maybe even today, there are people who feel like EJ that Dems haven't done shit or done enough for Black folks, given that they're their most reliable voting bloc. And a lot of Black people as a voting bloc vote for Democrats because they say, okay, I got one group over here that may not be doing anything for me, but they're not going to do anything to me. You know what I mean? And then there's another group that doesn't even like me because I'm me, And so I think it's more along the lines of that versus just being progressive,
And that's the problem, because Black people, to both of your points, we rather vote safe and harm reduction, and we rather be progressive. We'll go to the picket line, and we've talked about this before. We've Black women in this nation fighting for gender roles and fighting for gender rights, right? And in our community, in our households, most of that shit ain't happening with us. That fight, feminism, has always been statistically a problem in white households. And the number one benefactor of feminism in this nation has always been white women. Black people, we have the same struggle, man and female. Sure, there are different struggles, different things, but we've disillusioned ourselves to believe that every other fight is more important than the fight for Black things that Black people need. And to your point, the harm reduction, the progressiveness, we ain't got to that point where we've sat down, kicked the door in, and said, "Yo, Germany's still paying people from the Holocaust reparations, whatever it looks like. We ain't get this. We ain't get that. 80% of black people have student loan debt that are astronomical. We ain't get this. And as a black community, we're so busy on harm reduction, on worrying about everyone else's problems. Sure, a lot of those things blend in and touch us as well. But we as a community, we don't fight for black issues as a whole. We're not aggressive on it.
And one of the things I wanted to address really quick, with Steve's point about the Hispanic household and Poppy does this and all that kind of bullshit or whatever, that is complete fucking horseshit. And the reason why let me finish. The reason why I'll tell you that it's complete horseshit is because Mexico just elected a woman as their president, the first time in their history. Okay. And I'm pretty sure Mexico is filled with a lot of Hispanics, probably mostly Hispanics, probably all Hispanics.
Yeah, but we saw the breakout. We saw the breakout. Mexicans voted for Kamala. It was the Cubans and the fucking Puerto Ricans that didn't. That's and the others. That's the point.
So culturally, Mexicans aren't Hispanic. They're Spanish.
And culturally, they're, if you think about it, with all due respect to Mexicans, if you've ever been around Dominicans, Puerto Ricans, anything else, the worst thing you can call them is Mexican. So
yeah, you're not lying.
And that's the working class, and that's the class that's been directly targeted by Donald Trump and the Republicans, right? So it's Mexicans, it's the Venezuelans, right? It's a very small amount of them, but so it doesn't surprise me that they would, sway towards Kamala, because every time Trump gets up there, he says Mexicans are bad and they're sending us their worst. So that doesn't surprise me. I'm talking from experience. I'm talking from being around and growing up and having friends that are Puerto Rican, and my wife is Puerto Rican. Like, I've seen this. My brother-in-law lived at home till he was 28 years old, and his mom did his fucking laundry. Like, what are we talking about here?
I get what you're saying.
That's their household. That is their tradition.
I get what you're saying.
My mom stopped doing my laundry when I was fucking 17, yo. Maybe before that. And it was only because I left the shit sitting there. She told me to start doing that shit at 14. Like, this is what I'm saying. These are differences. And I'm not saying one culture is wrong and one is right. I'm just saying that these are the households people are growing up in.
Yeah, I got you.
So easy. It should be easy for people to see why one is able to understand the importance of voting for a woman, and the other one just will not do it.
But
I hear you.
And that's why I'm a little surprised, because I thought, like, I grew up in New York, and my neighbor to my left, Dominican and El Salvadorian household, part of my family's Panamanian, all of these things. I thought that the people of my generation, my time, the children of those parents, I thought we would be the ones to vote differently now. And it seems as though no matter what progressive issue, people are fighting for in the daylight, when they go into that booth, the things that they only truly care about, that are rooted in the things that they believe in, comes out on the ballot. Because while we sitting here doing all of this shit, pushing for gender equality, pushing for this, pushing for that, the moment these motherfuckers had a choice to do the things that they say they want to do, and put a woman in office to get done, they went the other way.
And the last thing I'll say on this is I don't know if we're getting ready to wrap this or whatever, but what's gonna be really bad, and Democrats are gonna be fucked up over this. And I don't just mean like the way they feel now. I mean electorally. That's the problem, and here's why.
How long have we been saying this?
What do you mean?
No, I'm saying, how long have we been saying who's next? We've been saying this for a long time.
Well, I think the Democratic Party actually does have a deep bench of talented people. That's what they refer to it in politics. I think the Democrats do have a deep bench of talented people, but the Democratic Party is never going to nominate a woman again. It's like women are cooked in the Democratic Party. The most they can be is a governor. I guess VP, right? But the top of the ticket, it's not happening anymore. I would say for a generation, if I had to put a wager on it, for a generation, you're not going to see a woman at the top of the Democratic Party. And I think some women probably will be even hesitant to even run now because they just know they're not going to win. But when you look at that bench, you have obviously in 2028, when you say who's next, I think a lot of people will put Kamala at the top of that list because the argument they will make is she had an abbreviated campaign, and if she had a full full runway, as well as not having to run under Joe Biden's baggage, given that she didn't really criticize the administration in any way on policies like with Israel and Gaza and other things, she kind of just toed the line, that she would have more room to run there. I don't know if I necessarily agree with that, but still, so she would be somebody who they consider. But again, she just lost, and for all the reasons that we said, so it ain't gonna be her. Buttigieg is another rising star. He's gay. It ain't happening. Gretchen Whitmer, who I love, the governor of Michigan, she's a she. It ain't happening. Wes Moore, the governor of Maryland. I love Wes Moore. I love Wes Moore when he was just a talking head on TV shortly after he got out of the army, when he worked for a nonprofit. And now, governor of Maryland, he's somebody who a lot of people probably have their eyes on. He's black. Tim Walz, who was Kamala's VP choice, he's somebody who I was telling you guys about before most people probably even knew his name. I've loved this guy for a long time. I love his policies, very progressive. He got a lot of things done in Minnesota that I like. But I don't know if he's going to have that 2024 stank on him to where people don't want to rock with him in 2028. But these are just some of the people just off the top of my head. But there's also folks, Gavin Newsom, governor of California. But there's also folks who probably haven't come to the fore yet for us to know who they are in terms of 2028. But that's not actually what I was talking about when I said the Democrats are going to be screwed electorally. What's going to happen is just like under Trump the first time. Trump came into office under 50 plus months of consecutive job growth, GDP growth, et cetera, from Barack Obama. And then he comes in and says, look how fantastic things are now that I'm here, even though things had been good before he got there. And people gave him a lot of credit for shit that he didn't really do anything to make happen. These things were already happening. He was just riding a wave. Now, did the wave get a little bit higher while he was in? Sure. Right. But it's not like he created this fucking wave. Right. And the same thing is going to happen now. I talk to you guys all the time about how the economy is actually doing in terms of data, what the data says the economy is doing. We've had nothing but straight growth. Stock market at an all-time high. Gas prices have leveled off. Inflation has leveled off. The economy is doing fantastic right now. I get it that people don't feel that way in or whatever, but it is what it is. On top of that, because of the way that government spending works, these bills that Biden has passed, some of these things have started already, but there's still hundreds of billions of dollars that are waiting to be spent next year and the year after in infrastructure, from the CHIPS Act, from the Inflation Reduction Act or whatever. And all of that spending is going to come online during Trump, which is going to do nothing but juice the economy even more manufacturing, more jobs, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And then he's going to take credit for all of that. And then these stupid ass people who apparently we can't count on them to know anything are going to be like, man, I don't know anything about the economy, but it damn sure feels good. And 2026 is going to roll around and Dems are going to say, this guy fucking sucks. Vote for us to take over Congress. People will say, nah, I feel that things are going pretty good. And then in 2028, if Trump hasn't made himself a king by then, JD Vance is going to be saying, hey, you should make me the president. Look how fucking good things have been the last 4 years. Thanks, Joe Biden. So this is where we are from the fact that people in our country, the vast majority of the voting population are fucking idiots.
Well, the hope is that, well, not hope. It's sure that we're done with him in 4 years. So that's a positive. The only hope that I have is that, historically, there's a lot of video, there's a lot of audio, there's a lot of record of JD Vance negatively speaking about Donald Trump prior to being his running mate.
That
The hope
exists
is
now,
that,
though, Steve.
right, let me finish. The hope is that I don't care about the voters. I don't trust voters. I'm telling you that right now. You're putting way too much stock in voting. It's fucked up. The hope for me is that JD Vance does know right from wrong and does have some morals in there and does step in and make some decisions that are necessary to ensure that this thing doesn't go completely off the rails.
Bro, you
But
probably you are you hitting my hopium supply though? Because you sound outside of your mind right now.
but you're basing it off of him being chosen as the vice president and having to support his running.
No. That's not what I'm basing it off of. I'm basing it off of JD Vance calling Trump cultural heroin, calling Trump America's Hitler. Those two are quotes.
Right. That's what
and
I'm saying.
then when he hang on a second. And then when he wanted to run for office, he turned around and started kissing Trump's ass.
Of course. Dog, you hate
So-
your boss. We all hate our bosses. We like them just enough to pay us and get us by. But if that boss promoted us tomorrow and said, yo, you're going to be this next person, extremely important over the whole department, whatever the fuck that looks like, all you got to do is come into this meeting and kiss my ass a little bit. You're going to go in there and kiss that ass. And if you don't, you're fucking stupid.
So
and
Steve,
I would say the same for a Democrat. I would say the same for an independent. I would say the same for a Republican. I would say the same for myself.
This is the pushback I'll give you to that argument. I'll use something personal for me. Back when I was in therapy, I used to always talk to my therapist about how I'm scared to like take trips and stuff like that because I'm probably going to need a lot of help, and then I'm going to have to lean on like my family members, not just like my wife and my kid, but like my brother and sister-in-law and stuff like that or whatever. And I don't want to be burdening people on their vacation or whatever. And my therapist said to me, she said, how many times have you asked somebody in your family for help and they didn't help you? I said, never. She said, so what evidence do you have that if you ask for help, you won't be helped? And I was like, damn, I never thought about it like that, but you're right. So for what you're saying, what evidence do you have of Republicans pushing back on anything that Trump does?
You just talked about it. Well, pushing back, no, but you just talked about JD Vance calling him America's Hitler. He has some.
That's when he wasn't in politics.
Regardless of what he's done on this campaign trail and said on this campaign trail, we know that he has somewhere in his brain and in his heart some ethics and morals. If he knew that Donald Trump was bad at one point, it's in there. Whether it's readily available, whether he's willing to immediately, come out and say, "Hey guys, we got to get this shit going," or not. Like that's it's a whole nother story, right? But
I hear you. So try this one on.
We felt the same way about Pence.
So try this one on, Steve. Trump reposted a post on his shitty knockoff Twitter website where a person said, Kamala Harris can't go to the White House because it's going to be in there smelling like curry, because she's part Indian, right? Her mom is Indian, right? JD Vance was asked about that. JD Vance was asked about that, and he said, there's nothing to see here. JD's wife is Indian, and so is his half Indian children. And he didn't say a damn thing about it.
When was that?
So, like during the campaign, like 6 weeks ago.
So what do you so here's the problem, right? We're saying, hey, Kamala did the right thing because she didn't challenge Biden, right? She didn't say, yo, I'm not for this Israeli shit. I'm not for the I get that we're doing it, but I was the voice of reason in there, right? But you got a problem with JD Vance. Like it's the same thing. It's absolutely the same thing. You're standing by their person.
If you tell me, hey, Vari, Hey, I got your back, dog. I'm gonna be your protector. Nothing's gonna happen to you. And then I watch you let somebody shit talk your wife or whatever. Why would I think you can help me and protect me?
You think his wife is Indian?
I don't think she's Indian. She is Indian.
When I say Indian, I mean like the real Indian.
Like
the cooking
Indian
on
from India, not Native American.
Yeah, but just because she's from there don't make her that.
Well, she
Like
ain't from there. She's an
she's
American, but her parents
all right. So
immigrated.
she's
mean,
and she's probably
again,
extremely Americanized,
I
and she
mean,
probably didn't take any.
he's to Steve's point, when the boss is speaking, you know what I mean? And JD Vance is like, I know I don't fuck with this dude, but this is gonna increase my portfolio and put money in my family's pocket for generations.
Right.
Just
That's
by
what I'm saying.
association. Motherfuckers gonna sell
That
out.
that's what I'm saying. So my point
No, but
is,
Steve is
EJ,
saying at
is
least
how does
but Steve is saying at least we know at the base, at the core, JD Vance, he might just be faking the funk. And we what Steve is saying, we hope that he at least believes in different things, but he's just faking the funk. And I think Steve's point to what Kamala does when it comes to Joe is extremely valid. You know that we're committing genocide as a nation. She might not agree with all that money going to Ukraine, but is she going to speak up against her man's? No, she's not going to do that.
Or her
She hasn't
husband, for
done.
that matter, who's fucking Jewish. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, she's in a rock and a hard place, and JD Vance is in a rock and a hard place. And all you can do, again, I'm not saying it's going to happen. I wouldn't bet on it. Like, if I did, I think the odds would be plus 2,500. Like, it's very small chances, but it's the bright side. It's the silver lining that at some point we've heard JD Vance say some negative shit about Donald Trump. And sure, he's his running mate. He's going to be his VP. But we also know that we felt like Mike Pence was his little bitch too. And when it came down to the come down, Mike Pence made the right decision. That's all I'm saying.
To say
right?
the
But
White House is going to smell like curry is wild.
so, but I guess
We
the
said
point.
worse. We said that she was gonna have like chitlins and shit at the inauguration.
So I guess the point
Shea
is
butter.
that
We said they
anybody,
played spades in the background while she doing.
any Republican that has defied Trump are gone, right? Mike Pence gone, persona non grata. All 10 Republicans that voted for Trump's impeachment gone. There actually, I'm sorry. There's two left, and both of them are holding on like nail biters every election they've been in since they cast that vote, right? So, but 8 of the 10 gone. Liz Cheney gone. Fucking the guy who was the Republican in Michigan on the canvassing board who certified the election in Michigan gone, right? So the lesson that Republicans have learned is that whatever Trump wants to do, we got to be with it or we're gone. So for me, I have no expectations of JD Vance having any kind of moral compass that's going to make him say, you know what, I'm down for, all these crazy things, the crazy shit he says. I can explain it away, whatever. But this thing here is a bridge too far, and I can't get down with that. I just don't see it happening. And for all of our folks, when shit goes down, don't call me for your protests. Don't call me when your rights are getting trampled on, when the police are beating up your kids or whatever. Don't call me. You made your bed. Fucking lie on me.
Yep. And that's my last point. Like the next 4 years for me is going to be the I told you so years. Like EJ and I we talked about it. I have an immediate family member who can't pay their fucking mortgage, right? But they think that Trump is going to fix that. I got friends that I know that are borrowing money to make ends meet, and they feel like Trump is going to fix that because they listen to the taxes on capital gains and stuff like that. Like, I'm good. You're good. We're good. We're all three of us are in good situations. Most of the people that we associate closely are in good enough situations to be able to kind of pull through all of this. And so all this is like when we're having these conversations and we're on the right side of this stuff, it's because we're morally sound to understand the impact to other people. But for those people who made that vote, when that time comes, dog, I don't got it. Even if I got it, guess what? I don't got it. Yo, anything will help me. Well, you know what will help you? If you have voted the right way.
That vote
That's
would help
right.
you. Yeah.
You know what? And my bank account look good right now. And I just bought a brand new car. You know what? But I don't got it, dog. Sorry. Like that's the type of shit I'm gonna be on. Very disrespectful. Very disrespectful. That's how my conversations are gonna go. Fuck you.
And what's wild is that, you know, if they start deporting people, right? Those people who aren't working, you know, the majority of people who work in agriculture, the ones who like, you know, pick strawberries and broccoli or whatever vegetables and things like that, they're illegal immigrants, right? So if you deport those people, that means you're going to have fruit and shit like that dying on the vine. It's going to make prices go up because it's going to be less supply for the demand, right? Which is going to help create inflation. If these meat processing plants and things like that can't get things processed timely enough to get it out the gate or whatever, same thing, you're going to have prices go up and you have nobody to blame but yourself.
I'm going to go one further and then we can move on. When they get rid of the strippers and they get rid of the Mushu spas because they deported all the people that are willing to get up there and do that, and you stuck with Becky with the good hair who ain't got nothing for you, I want to hear it. I want to hear it.
I'm done.
When you can't find an escort, that
oh my, yo. Oh my God.
Yeah. Mario, I told you I was done. I'm done. This guy's wild.
Yo. Look, nobody goes on the porn site and be like skinny white women. Like that's not what people go. Nobody goes to the strip club and be like, man, I hope there's a woman up there that looks like a 14-year-old boy in the chest. Like nobody does that.
Part of the Republican platform this year, I mean, most people don't read platforms unless you're a politics nerd. It's to ban porn in the United States. So, you know, there you go.
Them little OnlyFans checks. I hope you ain't vote for Trump.
Yo, I how was I gonna phrase this?
Ladies and gentlemen, this is where
I've seen some OnlyFans content creators for research purposes. That's the only reason I've seen it.
Oh, okay.
But
yeah, of course, naturally.
But yo, a lot of them are freaking like MAGA people, yo, which was very surprising to me.
Why would that be surprising to you?
I just assume like because of that industry or whatever. Like
strippers are the same way.
The Republican Party has been trying to ban like pornography for years, and it seems like this is your livelihood.
They don't care about the truth. The way they're looking at it is their OnlyFans. They had to drop their OnlyFans from $9.99 to $4.99 because inflation, because of Biden's inflation. Dudes is going in the strip club with $12 in singles because of Biden's inflation, because they can't buy milk for their kids. Like this is how they're seeing it. They're not seeing it as Republicans want to get rid of. They want to get rid of my job. Like they're not looking at it like that. I think you think that some of these people in America are smarter than they really are. Like that's what it boils down to. That's what it boils down to. On the MAGA note, how come we haven't seen was it Nick Bosa? Yeah. Well, how come we haven't seen Nick Bosa get the Colin Kaepernick treatment?
Because he's white. He's white, and 32 owners agree with him.
Okay.
It's that simple.
That's all it is. And you know, I was talking to my brother about this shit with the Nick Bosa thing, and it's the parallels are like crazy when you think about it, right? Because like with what's his name, Buckner or whatever, the kicker, the KC dude,
Bucker.
Like with him,
Harrison.
even though he's been like being political, at least off the field, right? I can see people like not giving it a lot of play because, you know, he's a kicker. Like most people outside of KC don't know who the hell this dude is. You know what I'm saying? So it's not like an apples to apples comparison, right? And then he could at least argue, well, I'm doing political stuff off the field. I'm going on podcasts and all these kind of things like that. I'm not, on the field doing these things. And it's like, okay, everybody got their own political beliefs, so he has a point, right? He's keeping it football.
Mm-hmm.
You got Kaepernick, who was black, Bosa's white. Kaepernick was the quarterback, the most high-profile player on a team. Nick Bosa is a defensive captain and one of the most high-profile players on that team. Kaepernick 49ers, Bosa 49ers. Like everything is like an apples to apples, like straight line comparison, right? And Kaepernick does one thing and he gets ostracized. Bosa does it and it was damn near crickets. It's insane the parallel, Joe.
Bosa been in shit since he was saying racist things before he even got to the league. But I mean, again, as a people, we accept this shit. He's white. He's allowed to do what he does. His teammates don't say shit to him. As a people, black people, we allow a lot of shit to go, man. As a teammate of his, if I'm Trent Williams, I'm like, shut the fuck up and get that hat out of here, motherfucker. Because I remember what you said years ago, and I still don't fuck with you. But, hey, he gets sacks. It's his wins.
But I mean,
what are we gonna do?
But it's just it's crazy, man. It is crazy. But to your point, EJ, that you made, agreeing with me, yes, he's white, but then also, and the 32 owners agree with him. So, nothing to see here.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
yep, pretty much.
Yeah,
they did fine him though for wearing.
I was gonna say he did get
fined, whatever it was.
Yeah, $11,000, boy. And I know his kids might not eat this week, so I'm praying for him.
That was his dog's budget, food budget.
I'm praying for that brother, man, because them kids didn't do this. This was him, and the fact that they might go hungry.
That was his housekeeper's budget, and the fact that she's probably gonna get deported, he's gonna have to clean his own house.
Yeah, I saw a thing on I saw a clip of somebody like talking about an interview that happened on MSNBC. I didn't see the actual interview, but it was with a Hispanic family from Nevada, and the husband voted for Kamala, the wife and the son voted for Trump. But the husband says he's glad that Trump won because he's going to be better on the economy, right? Both these people came to the United States illegally and became citizens through the amnesty program that Ronald Reagan did back when he was president. That's how they became citizens. And then they were like, he's talking about the bad and the ones who are breaking the law. It's like, bitch, you broke the law. You came here illegal. Like, bro, it's...
Yo, Trump is... he's going to be financially... They'll be a good...
Didn't I say that? I said that in the chat.
Yeah. I actually
said that in the chat.
A friend of mine.
These people from these go ahead, my bad.
I'm gonna say I talked to a friend of mine that has the same type of situation. Part of her family, they all came over here. They're whatever, but she's got some in her family, and she told me, she's like, they voted for Trump and they think they're safe.
Yeah, and this same group, real quick, EJ, before you say what you're gonna say. They asked them at the end of the interview, like, do they know anybody that's undocumented, either family, friends? They was like, yeah, they have family and friends that are in the United States, undocumented. And they said, are you worried about them? No, because they're not breaking the law. They're the good ones. They have jobs. They're good in the community or whatever. And it's like,
it's not how that works, bro. that's not how that works.
But that's what I was telling y'all. That's what I was telling y'all in the chat when we ask, how can these people vote the way that they do? They feel a certain sense of entitlement. They look at it like, oh, that might have been me yesterday, but it ain't me no more. So I don't give a fuck. Let me pull the ladder up.
Yeah,
that's people. Humanity is very sick. Humanity is in a very sick place. One another enough. They live in their 3-foot bubble. They stay on social media and they like what appeals to them, and they could care less about their fellow man. Even if it's their own family that's going to get deported, they don't give a shit.
Yeah, this new administration that comes in will be good from a money standpoint, at least at the top. You just got to hope that the the top pays it forward, like the bosses and stuff like that. But historically, we've seen that that's not happening. So it's just the social stuff, right? The social stuff is where it's going to be like a complete dumpster dive. It's going to be nasty. It's going to be bad. It's going to be there's going to be a lot of tears. There's going to be a lot of anger from people. And I see some people that can't vote, but they do support Trump. And I feel like what was that I said? Rico from Belly. I don't like that shit. I'm gonna have to drop a dime. I might have to make a call. Like, hey, Juan, my boy Juan from down there. Yeah. He Carlos. Yeah, they not supposed to be here. They're not supposed to be here. Y'all should probably go ahead.
That's gonna be crazy. That's gonna be crazy to see.
It is.
It's gonna be crazy to see.
It's gonna be more frustrating and heartbreaking because we're gonna get back to those kids in cages again, and separations from their families and things like that. Like that's like being all joking aside from everything that's been said probably for the last 30 minutes. That's gonna be the worst part of it is just the actual, pain and agony that we're gonna have to watch people go through.
And not only that, the prejudice and the racism that might exist, because the batshit crazy Trump supporters, they're gonna look at anybody in the street and assume, oh, you don't belong here.
Yep.
You never know. You know what I'm saying?
It'll be like 9/11. Remember 9/11? How
yep.
Indians and Pakistanians were treated away, like just because they look a certain way. I mean, but we've lived through that for shit since the beginning of time. So, welcome to our world.
Mm-hmm.
Welcome to our world. Fuck Jerry Jones, by the way. Trade deadline in the NFL came and went this past week. Oh, Todd Bowles messed up your money. It's all good. Trump is gonna save your money. Jerry Jones didn't do nothing in the offseason, and then at the deadline, knowing that your quarterback is going on IR and then probably going to be out for the season, he goes and gives away a fourth round pick for Jonathan Mingo, a guy that has one catch on the season. That's what we did. That's what we did. Beyond that, because selfishly, I would talk about how much I hate him, for the rest of the pod if I could, but I don't even care. Just football in general. The trade deadline, we expected a lot more moves, I think, than what actually took place. Like, I thought there was going to be a lot more sellers and a lot more buyers, for that matter, on some bigger names. But I think this year has just been a weird year where, standings are fairly close in these divisions and such, where people where they feel like they still have a shot. And maybe that's what led to teams holding on. I mean, even Carolina, we heard that they held on to Bryce Young. The Rams held on to everybody after they went on a 2-game winning streak after they got their wide receivers back and such. But definitely some teams, even Miami for that matter. Like, we talked about the consequence of them losing that game, and we thought that there would be some people or someone on the move, and we didn't see anything there. So I'm not sure, what's going on.
I agree with you. I agree with you 100% because the league is the good teams are just so established, and everyone else is in such a dog race or they're fucked. It didn't make sense for any team to really jump out there, because it's like, if we're in any kind of race, we just going to try to fight with what we got and hunker down for next year. And the teams at the top are just the teams at the top. I mean, I think KC made the best move that they could make with getting D-Hop. But outside of that, how much is a 2-6 team or 3-2-7 team to get better in this trade deadline for this season? It ain't gonna happen.
Yeah, I literally said to my brother after we lost to Buffalo, we talked on pod about how I could see them making trades or whatever. As soon as that game was over, I was like, we're not going to do anything at the trade deadline because of how well we played against Buffalo. Played them very close. The offense looked really good, and came down to literally a last-second 61-yard field goal. I was like, they're going into this thinking we have enough. We just got to put it together. And I watched the games, and I'm like, yeah, I don't think we have enough. So yeah, but we here now. So yeah, I was surprised at the light amount of action on the trade deadline, especially for Myles Garrett. I thought he was gone, and I was very surprised that he wasn't moved.
Yeah.
A team like Cleveland is looking at it like, yo, we just beat the Ravens. We play them tough every year. We got a solid defense. Our offense isn't the worst in the world, right? If we can just move on from this quarterback situation and find something serviceable next year, we'll be in the hunt. We know we ain't gonna win the AFC North. We know we ain't gonna do shit there. Russ is doing what he's doing in Pittsburgh, and Lamar's doing what he's doing in Baltimore. We'll sit this out, but let's keep every defensive piece we can and build upon this next year. Get us a good little veteran and keep it moving.
Or maybe nobody really wanted to pay what they wanted.
Essentially, teams have punted on this season.
Yeah.
That too, and I think essentially teams have punted on this season. Some of these teams.
Yeah, but the scary part of that is that they're not going to not start their starters, and those starters can end up like, you know what I'm saying? And so, and that hurts you for next year. But we'll see, man. It's a weird season. It continues to be a weird season. As we talk right now, Bryce Young is back in at the starting quarterback for Carolina for the last few games, and Carolina is leading the Giants right now, who's also a shitty team. They're both 2-7. Carolina's up 17-7. It was a game in Germany this week. How bad is it going to hurt Deion Sanders when Shedeur is playing for the Giants next year?
He might try to pull an Arch Manning on him. He might try to pull Arch Manning.
But where else do you send them? Like Tennessee? Who else is going to be quarterback searching is my question.
There's going to be teams in the hunt next year.
Right.
Tennessee, Giants, Carolina may be in the mix again because I don't think that they believe in Bryce Young.
I don't know. He's looked better.
Vegas, the Rams the Rams may want to, like, even if they're going to have Stafford, like, get somebody in pocket. If the person is there, don't count the Dolphins out. Based on where if the season ends today, Dolphins will pick 8. And I told you guys the way that Tua's contract is structured, after next season they can walk away from him only for $3 million. So the Dolphins could be in that mix of teams. Seattle, the Jets, Seattle, because the way Geno's contract is scheduled, really after this season, the bulk of the guaranteed money is paid out. So yeah, I think there are a good bit of teams that could be in the hunt for somebody in the draft, depending on how big the draft class is in terms of the quarterback position.
Indeed.
Yeah, we'll have to see. Jamar Chase had a hell of a game on Thursday night. I don't know if you guys watched the game. I got in right before. I got in right before the first touchdown that he scored. He ended up with 264 yards, 11 receptions, with 3 touchdowns.
Don't I know it? But I'm playing against that cocksucker in our fantasy league. I didn't check fantasy. I went on it was probably maybe 10 minutes after the game ended. I was like, let me see if whoever I'm playing got anybody in this game. And I opened up the app, and how
the worst person for them to have.
Right. It shows you the preview of the score, and they had 77 points. I was like, the fuck? Oh man, I am getting roasted, yo.
Beat you by yourself. I didn't start Joe Burrow in another league. I was so mad at myself. I just knew he was gonna have a shitty game.
I played in our league. I ended up having Lamar start, so I got those points, and I was happy. And then I went into one of my other leagues, and I was playing against Lamar, and I was like, "Fuck!" And I forgot in that league I had Joe Burrow, so I ended up canceling Lamar out. I had Joe Burrow who got 48 points. Lamar Jackson got 41 points.
I'm playing against Dave in our league, and Dave had Jamar Chase and Chase Brown going, and Chase Brown got him 22. Jamar Chase got him 55.
Yeah, you go ahead and hang that one up.
Yeah.
On to next year.
Damn. Holy shit.
I am getting smoked this week. Oh
yeah.
God.
Yeah, you could wrap that one up. I had Lamar, and then I had Mark Andrews on the bench in our league and left him by accident 18. But I have Chuba Hubbard, who's killing today. He's got 24 points so far. So it's comeback time. I got to win out, I think, to make
Zay
the playoffs.
Flowers. Fucking Zay Flowers finds a way to.
Yeah, but you in first place.
Pause.
Hey yo.
Yeah.
But you in first place. You're gonna be all right.
I'm in fucking last, but I don't think I've ever finished last in 2 years. Like even years I didn't make the playoffs, I didn't finish last.
And of course, the first year where there's some,
I knew that shit was gonna happen. That's why I lobbied so hard against it.
Some repercussions.
Oh yeah.
I lobbied so hard against it, but the voters didn't listen to me. So
shout out to
you, bro. Hey, the fantasy draft should have been a sign of what was to come in November.
Dog. Shout out to the Evening Rush, man, and their podcast network over there. My brother-in-law doing this thing, man. Shout out to them. Yeah, he was married to my sister.
Family that I don't know. No reason.
Shit, nigga. I mean, I went most of my life not knowing my sisters. When I met the dude, they were married. Fuck you want me to do? I didn't know either.
I gotta come up there. Yeah, man. So, what do we got going on this week as far as games? I mean, I'm pretty disengaged from football right now because it's looking like the Cowboys. The only thing I'm really worried about at this point is going to be fantasy and DFS, but because the Cowboys are, they could wrap that one up. May as well go ahead and sit CD the rest of the year, all of that, unless Cooper Rush decide he's gonna be able to get it done in our defense. I mean, I still want to beat Philly.
I'm telling you, your boy Cooper Rush. Your boy Cooper Rush, I'm telling you, they're gonna beat Philly today. I feel it. They're gonna beat Philly today. I feel it. Cooper Rush, I think with some preparation, I think he's gonna win.
This week's games are all trash, yo. It's all like top seeds versus shitty team. Buffalo, Indy, Minnie, Jacksonville, Kansas City, Denver is divisional. That'll be a good game. Atlanta, New Orleans. New Orleans ain't got nobody on offense. Tampa Bay got no one on offense. They're playing against San Fran. McCaffrey's back though. Good. Pittsburgh, Washington could be a good game. McCaffrey's back today. What's the over under of his re-injury? Exactly. They said he had like plantar fasciitis in both feet. Like, dog, that reminds me.
They said he had an issue, then an Achilles issue, then a San Fran doesn't tell anybody. If you notice, they're not really forthcoming with their injury reports.
Mm-hmm. He's always been like that, old bum ass. Pittsburgh, Washington. You're right. That's probably the best game on the slate this week. I'm interested in that Jets Arizona game to see if the Jets are real deal for you guys. Do you feel like what we saw last week is what we should see rest of the way for the Jets with Aaron Rodgers being able to get the ball to Devontae Adams and Wilson and so on? And really, as we get deeper into the year, we should also see the run game open up for Breece Hall and those guys. Do you feel any confidence boost after seeing how the Jets performed last week, EJ?
I mean, after watching 5 straight games where we've lost by field goals and single points, and I've become numb to this team. But what I did see last week was a cohesive unit that looks pretty decent. I think they have the talent. I think if Aaron Rodgers can get his head out of his ass, they can be good. We finally benched Greg Zuerlein. I think they need to investigate him because I think he's shaving points and taking bets. But if Aaron Rodgers can keep his head out of his ass, I think we'll be okay. The other problem is our run defense sucks, and that's attributed to Joe Douglas. So we're gonna have a pretty tough time with James Conner. But we'll see. I think they can play that well, but it starts with Aaron Rodgers and that defense.
It's gonna be a good game.
I'm not ready to go that far. Jets. I think,
Of course not. What a surprise.
Well, I hate the Jets. Don't get me wrong. I make no bones about that. My biases are clear. Literally wearing a Dolphin shirt. So, but I just we haven't seen enough. You know what I mean? Like they look good one game, but is it one game, or was it a fluke, or is this like the real deal? And the problem for me, especially with the Jets, is you guys know the media, right? The Jets have been shit all year, and they have this good game, and all of a sudden it's like, are the Jets a playoff team? Should we consider the Jets to be somebody to challenge Buffalo in the AFC East? Are the Jets contenders? So, and it's like, dude, they have like 3 wins on the season. Like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Nah, I agree. But all of the games that we lost, except for the Pittsburgh game, it's field goals, man. We should have beat Buffalo. This guy fucking misses a kick, then misses another kick. Fucking the Denver game, ready to go on the field. We're down 1 point. This fucking guy misses a field goal. I swear Greg Zuerlein is taking bets this year. So the thing about this team, they've been in these games. The record could have easily been the other way if they had a kicking game and some better coaching decisions. But I agree with you. I don't really have much faith in them. They got to show me something today, and we'll see. I don't know.
It's almost getting to a do or die point for them. They're 3-6. A loss today. It's an AFC team, so it's important, right? Conference win, conference losses. 3-7 is going to be tough to crawl out of, even for wild card. So this is a huge game for them today. The other big game that I would have liked even more. I think Nico Collins is back today, and if he is, it'll make a little bit of a difference. But Detroit and Houston looks like it could be a good game tonight. That's going to be a nice one to pour something with a nice twang to it. Sit down and fall asleep by halftime because I'm old as shit.
Well, if that Houston had a,
what'd you say, VP?
That Houston team had a lot of injuries up front. I think that's going to be their problem versus Detroit. They had a lot of injuries up front.
Yeah, no, I was just saying I hope he's back. Like, I have him on my fantasy team. He was like the brightest spot on my team, and especially like getting the stack with him and CJ. And because CJ's been complete trash since that dude's been gone.
Yeah. You've been. I was looking at your team to trade you a quarterback, but I was like, he ain't gonna do nothing because he ain't winning shit. He in last place. Because I got Lamar and Jaden Daniels. I got Jaden Daniels in all 5 of my leagues.
Damn.
All 5. Like,
pickup.
And I picked him up late, just about everywhere. I was, later than I expected. So, hopefully he stays healthy.
The Steelers today.
He'll be a keeper for me. I'm interested in watching that game. That's going to be a 1:00 game. I might actually go somewhere if I could find some friends in Florida to maybe have some wings and watch the games. I haven't done that in a while. So,
yeah, I think Jaden Daniels is going to cook Pittsburgh today because that defense isn't as good as they harp it up to be. We were up against them 15-6 going into the half. Aaron Rodgers does some dumb shit, and the whole game goes the other way. So I think Jaden Daniels isn't going to make those mistakes.
I agree with you, EJ, on Pittsburgh. The thing with with Pittsburgh is there's the Mike Tomlin factor. You know, like as bad as the team is, like he finds a way. You know what I'm saying? And so, you know, you can't never write them off just because like it seems like Tomlin's going to get more out of them than anybody else would.
Absolutely. I think Dan Quinn though is locked in. To his credit, you know, the team looked as shitty as they did, you know, preseason and beginning of the year. Dan Quinn is locked in, man. I mean, he seems to have those guys firing in all cylinders. So I think it's gonna be a good chess match, but I think Washington is gonna beat Pittsburgh bad today.
Yeah, Dan Quinn is locked in. Jaden Daniels making great plays, reviving McLaurin's career after a slow season last year, looking really good. The downside is they don't have Brian Robinson, so they're gonna be running with Eckler, but Eckler looked good last week. He's a veteran. But that Pittsburgh run defense is pretty stout. And so again, like VP said, when you got Tomlin over there, he's one of those guys that, I mean, you have to understand his football IQ, his ability to prep, and also know that he's gonna know that Najee Harris needs to get touches today. He's gonna know that, you know, milking that clock and winning the time of possession is gonna be important because Washington generally can move the ball pretty quickly because Jaden Daniels is you know looking like he's the real deal. So I think it's gonna be a good game. I'm not sure who I'm sold on in that game at this point. I'm not sure, but
sure.
my underdog choice of the day is Denver. I think Denver beats Kansas City today. Kansas City takes their first loss. All that talk about all week about, oh, they're going to be undefeated. Are they going to go undefeated? The rest of the games they have are easily winnable. But Kansas City, they struggle with Denver all the time. They struggle with Oakland Las Vegas now. They struggle with them all the time. They just don't play well, and they even struggle with the Chargers. Like they just suck in their fucking division, you know. So I think there's a potential that Denver gets it done today. Another team that runs the ball, keeps time possession. So that's the upset of the day for me.
I felt the same way when I looked at that game. I had the same exact sentiments. I think Bo Nix is he's showing something. He showed something last week with his legs. I think that's going to be an issue for Kansas City. You know, Tampa should have beat them last week. That was the one right there. It was right there. But I agree with you. I see Denver beating Kansas City. Denver has a really good defense, so it'll be interesting. It'll be interesting.
I mean,
for sure.
I don't know. I don't know if Denver get them. I mean, I get it. You know that Mahomes hasn't really looked great this year. They just got D-Hop, and they connected last week. I think the connection is only going to get better. But I mean, Mahomes is like 1 career versus Denver. So, you know, I think they probably get it done still.
Yep, it'll be interesting week of football for sure. You guys been watching anything new?
For me, yes. In last week's podcast, EJ, you weren't here. Steve gave me a homework assignment to start Love Is Blind, so I did. Right. I only watched the first 2 episodes and then half of the third. No, I'm sorry. I'm up to the point to where they're in Mexico or wherever they are. I think they're in Mexico. I don't know when they take the trip after the pods.
They are. They're in Cancun. More of that shit. You better find some places in America that look nice.
Right. But so I watched all of the pod episodes, which I think is like 3 episodes or 4 maybe, and then I'm in the middle of the episode when they're in Cancun or whatever. So yeah, it's interesting. I for me, Steve said it was better than last season. Last season, I don't know if it's because I never watched the show until last season. The first time I ever watched it was last season, and that shit just it had me dying laughing, yo. Especially with that dude Matthew when he got up and walked out of the room on that shit while she was still talking, and she was like, "Hello, hello," like that shit had me rolling, yo. But based off
That's
of
because you're a scumbag.
based on what I've seen so far, I will say I think Steve point that I heard him say on one episode of the pod that it seems that they got more regular people versus people who are trying to be influencers and or they already are influencers or whatever. So you definitely can see that. But what I also will say is that I think the chicks from last season were a lot better looking than the ones this season.
They were, but that's what you get when you get influencers versus average Joe's.
Yeah, that's true. And then I wrote down, I jotted down this note here to say I wanted to call my shot before we get to the end. Of the 6 couples that I didn't even realize this. I just figured all the rest of the people didn't get engaged or whatever. But apparently, they only take a few of them like to the vacation and then follow them throughout. But I guess more than that got engaged. But
I learned that this season too.
Yeah, that is first. Yeah. So of the 6 that we're still seeing on TV, I got Nick and Hannah. Nick is the football guy who's dating a chick who's always self-conscious about her weight. She reminds me of Chelsea Fox from last season. I got them down as they're not making it. Tim and Alex, that's the black dude with the black chick, the one that's a little bit more heavy set, who's complaining about his hat when he was in Mexico. They're not making it. She seems like they're not making it. She got that chick no problem. Garrett and Taylor, that's the white dude with the Asian chick. They're not gonna make it. Ramses and Marissa, I got them as a possibility to make it. That's the Spanish dude and the black chick. Yep. And then Tyler and Ashley, that's the bulky black dude with all the tattoos, who's always saying, "I want to pray with you," and all this kind of him.
Oh yeah.
I got them as making it, and then the last couple is Steven and Monica. That's the white dude who found out he's part black, and then the black chick. I got them as a maybe, but I'm leaning no. So
EJ, you gotta watch it so you can see that.
I like your predictions. No, I watched it. I watched the season. I watched the reunion. I'm good. Yeah. That's why I said I like his predictions. Yo, this motherfucker talking about he's part black. Dog, your fucking ancestors were slave owners. That's what the fuck that means. Okay, your ancestors were slave owners. I can't believe they let him get away with that bullshit.
Yo, I said the same shit when I was watching. I said the same shit I was watching, EJ. This dude talking about we thought we were German and our family history came from Sierra Leone and Nigeria. And I'm thinking like, okay, like you waiting for him to say the next line. Like you almost there, buddy. Like Steve, you know, I'm trying to get Ash in the pool for the first time. You're like, come on, buddy. Like one more step. You know, like you're almost there, big guy.
Like, yeah, that means your fucking ancestors from Germany fucking raped some slaves, asshole. This motherfucker, I'm part black. What the fuck are you talking about, buddy?
Wow.
Oh my God,
I've been watching on HBO Max, The Penguin. I know you guys aren't DC fans.
I keep saying I got to start it. I've heard nothing but good things. I just haven't started it.
Colin Farrell, man. Colin Farrell, he's killing this role in this Matt Reeves version of Batman universe. It's going to lead to the Batman 2 movie with the kid from Twilight, Robert Pattinson.
Robert Pattinson.
Yeah, so that's been the main thing I've been watching. And then Lioness has a season 2 out, but I just canceled Paramount, so I got to make a decision there. I haven't been watching Tulsa King this season because
I gotta watch that.
It hasn't really caught me. It's been too unreal to me, kind of. But later this year, I'm looking forward to Reacher season 3 coming out, and then a new series coming on Amazon with my boy Aldous Hodge, Cross, another play on the Alex Cross book series that Morgan Freeman played in the movies.
Didn't Tyler Perry do that too?
Yeah, he had one.
Oh yeah, he did.
Where he was Alex Cross. I can't remember the writer's name. I can't remember. It's not. I want to say it's not James Cameron. It's not Tom Clancy. I can't remember the writer's name. But Alex Cross is one of his big series, basically on the early stages of Alex Cross being a police officer in DC. So I'm looking forward to that. That comes out next Saturday, I think. So.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
TV wise, not much. I mean, obviously The Challenge, that's my shit. I keep watching that. Watching Johnny Bananas and them while out over
James
there.
Patterson, EJ.
It's disrespectful.
That's right.
Sorry. James Patterson, Alex Cross. That's who wrote the series.
Gotcha. That's I was right.
I'm gonna punch both of y'all in the face. I watched my first cheesy Christmas movie last night. 'Tis the Season.
Oh,
for those, I love those. The one I watched last night is called Meet Me Next Christmas. It's on.
I saw that one I saw the thumbnail. I got it saved on my list.
Mm-hmm. It's on Netflix. It has Christina Milian's fine ass, non-acting ass, but very fine. In it, and it's cheesy. It's cheesy. I'm I needed something, and I always tell you guys I be missing those old school black movies and shit, especially the holiday joints. So there's another one on there called Christmas with a Kiss. I'll probably save that one until it gets a little cooler out, because this global warming is it's still 84 degrees.
Mm-hmm.
It just don't feel right at night, with the AC on, because it's still 80 degrees outside watching a Christmas movie. I did buy my new Christmas tree yesterday though. Yeah, exactly.
In November.
80 degrees in November.
Man, we already got our Christmas tree up.
I bought it yesterday. I bought mine yesterday. Costco, shout out to Costco. I fucks with them. Popped in.
Yeah.
They had one 7.5 footer that I guess, they only had like 2 or 3 left. Chopped the price by about $200. Let me get that one. Regular price on their app was like $3.99, and they sold it to me for $200. So I can't turn that down.
This is a real tree?
No.
Oh.
It's a pre-lit though.
VP
pre-lit.
Steve, tell us how how we know you're rich. What a Christmas tree for $200. Jesus Christ.
$200, yeah. God damn.
My Christmas trees last though. Like the last one that I had was like $90, and that shit we had the same one for like shit since before the kid was born. So you're talking about $200. If I keep it for 4 years, that's what, $25 a year? I'm sorry, $50 a year? Bad math.
Yeah, okay.
What are you talking about?
I mean, the old one was 90. The old one was 90.
Right.
I don't know how to have 200 this time.
Well, this one was regular price was exactly, but regular price was $400. You got to take a deal where you can get a deal. I have to assume that it's gonna last now, since it's regular price is $400.
I mean, tell us you're rich without telling us you're rich.
Exactly.
What? How much your Christmas tree cost?
I don't know. I mean,
I ain't had a Christmas tree in years.
We didn't buy it. I mean, it's a Christmas tree that we've been using. We've had it there for a few years now.
Oh, but you know what? Y'all ain't really Christmas people.
Not really.
Like you're like a Jehovah's Witness.
Kids now.
And
well, I mean, I don't like the commercialization of Christmas. Like for me, Christmas is about celebrating the birth and life of my Savior, and spreading cheer and joy. But most people just want to buy shit.
I love the season.
I'm out.
I love the season.
I'm out. I'm out. This motherfucker
I've always
is
loved.
trash.
I've always loved Christmas season, man.
Yo.
I've always loved Christmas season. Thanksgiving is coming. Any plans for Thanksgiving?
I actually don't know, man. I'm not really feeling it this year
Get drunk.
Of course.
because TJ ain't gonna be here. So
Oh, he's not coming home for Thanksgiving?
nah, that ticket to come home was insane. So
Yeah.
he's gonna go to my sister-in-law's in Wisconsin and do Thanksgiving with them.
What about Christmas?
He'll be home for Christmas, but not Thanksgiving.
Yeah. I mean, at least he's not staying on campus.
Yeah.
With a little Becky. Make you a grandpa soon.
He went to a hockey game last night.
A hockey game?
Yeah, they had a tournament this weekend, and typically the team only the varsity team travels, but this one is like one of the bigger tournaments or whatever. So they travel with the whole team this time, the varsity and the JV guys, and so they got them like all this stuff like to do while they were going to be out. So they bowled on yesterday, and then last night they went to a hockey game.
Where at?
So hell if I know. I haven't talked. He don't talk to us on the weekend. He be like locked in. So I was surprised he sent us a text of the rink saying, "Hey, my first hockey game."
That's what's up, man. At least he's out there living and experiencing, man. That's huge.
Mm-hmm. And then Aaron's sister, the one from Wisconsin, she went out and saw him. She's gone out twice to see him, so she went this weekend too. So she watched him bowl yesterday.
Good. Well, hopefully, he has a good Thanksgiving up there, and sounds like he's having a good time. That's all that really matters, man. Now's the time.
Yeah.
Yep. Hopefully he ain't got no student loans. Hopefully he ain't got no student loans.
He definitely does.
Well, see if your tone changes a little bit in a couple of years.
Yeah, I got him that coat and the other stuff that y'all had recommended. I didn't buy it because I need him to try some stuff on. So when he goes to Wisconsin, he'll be up there in like 2 weeks from now. So I figured he should be okay with just the coat for now. And then when he gets up there, she's gonna take him to some of the stores to get the things that he needs.
Yeah, I was looking for the pea coat that I thought I had, but in the 2 bins that I was able to get to, it wasn't in there. So I'm gonna have to check another one. That one's in the attic though. I'll let you know if I find it though.
Okay.
And it's big and heavy, so if I find it, it's probably better for him to be able to take it back in December. It's going to be expensive to ship that bitch.
Yeah.
So, I'll keep looking for it, but because I ain't gonna use it. Actually, I'm going to Utah on the 21st, and but I don't know if I'm gonna need it for that. I don't think.
Check this. I know something I'm gonna tell you. Check this shit out. So, like they have a chant for like each bowler when they get a strike or whatever. It's a different chant for each person on the team or whatever.
Oh shit!
Here goes TJ's chant. They say like when he strikes, when he comes back, he's like, "Who's the man?" And then they say, it's like, "Who's the man? You're the man, a strong black man." And I'm like, "What? Like,
how did we get here?"
I'm like, "Yo, what kind of shit is that?" Like, oh my god,
Cool Runnings.
Exactly.
I see power. Oh, a strong black man. You know what? Fuck it, yo.
Right.
Fuck it. At this point,
like these are your woke teammates that are gonna be voting for Trump next year or this year. Shit.
Mm-hmm.
Who's the man? You're the man. A strong black man. I'm like, oh my god.
That's funny. That's funny. All right. Well, I don't think there's anything else. We did our 1 hour of political banter. We hit up our little bit of sports action. Next week we'll talk about I want to, you know, be prepared to talk through some stuff that people can do now or take advantage of now, of things that are probably going to go away in the next few years, to kind of, position themselves. So we'll save that for next week.
Okay.
But that's all I got. That is all I got. Shout out to all the people that did the right thing this week, and for those who didn't, you reap what you sow. And I'll pass it to you to get us up out of here.
Hey, everybody, we definitely appreciate you guys for rocking with us on this week's episode of the Castworthy Podcast. For the folks who listen live, we appreciate you taking time out of your day. For the folks who are listening once the episode posts, we appreciate you taking that time as well. Like we always say, man, make that phone call, send that text message, reach out to your people. Some folks ain't doing good this week, including me. This was a down week for me after the election. So, reach out to folks, see how they doing, check in with them, tap in, just let them know, reassure them, let them know you care about them. Like Steve said, to the folks who, did the right thing this week, we definitely appreciate you. And, don't get too down, man. We'll drink some water and get back in the fight. But, and to America, in the famous words of Oda Mae Brown, America, you in danger, girl. So people better wake the hell up. But with that being said, man, you can find us on all right. You can find our podcast on all podcasting platforms by searching at Castworthy. You can also follow us on any of our social media by searching at Castworthy. On Instagram is at Castworthy_podcast. While you're there, you can leave a like, subscribe, share, follow, tell a friend, help us grow the audience. We very much appreciate it. And until then, we will see you guys next week with another fresh episode of the Castworthy Podcast. Until then, we out. We love you. Peace.